So guys, this TV console is one that I DIY'd some years back, and it has served its purpose and it's done well. At the time, I wanted something black, I wanted the glass doors, and like I said, it served its purpose well, but now I'm ready for a different look. I don't want the open bottom anymore. It's just an open space for storing stuff that doesn't need to be there. And so I found a dresser on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm going to DIY a makeover for it and give myself a completely different TV console. What I'm looking for this time is to take this dresser and completely transform it. I love the look of it. I love the fine details here. I even love the hardware that's on this piece, but I do want to switch it up just a bit, and I want to give it more of a wood tone color instead of this cherry wood color. Now, it's got too many details for me to try and bring it down to the natural wood tone, so I am going to do a paint technique with it, the one that you guys always see me do, but a bit of a different color this time. Brown, but not too light of a brown. These are the products that I'm going to use. I have my Retikit in the color light wood. I do have a deck staining brush, and then I have some Waverly paints that I'm going to use to help to give me the look that I'm going for. So just going to get started on this piece and then see what the end result is going to be. Oh, and I also have my brush, my broom, and another paintbrush. So with that said, have my gloves, and I also have a microfiber cloth so I can wash it down, and I'm just going to use just plain water. I don't want the residue of any chemicals to be left behind. So I'm starting by removing the hardware, and as you guys can see, Louie wants to be involved in this process, but I'm removing all the hardware, and then after I remove the hardware, I'm going to wash it down really good, get all the dust and everything off of it, and then we'll start our paint technique. And I'm also going to take the time to tape off the edges of this. I don't want the wood part of it to be painted, so I'm just going to take the time to just put some painter's tape on the edges of each one of the drawers. Okay guys, this is really good all wood furniture. This is from the, I don't even want to mispronounce that, but anyway, this is all wood. So now I'm going in and I'm just wiping it down and cleaning it really good before we start our painting process. And now that it's all clean, I'm coming in with a small sponge brush to try and get in between these drawers. You guys, this furniture, I know there is a trick to how to open these drawers, but there's some kind of stop on them that doesn't allow you to pull the drawers out. So I'm going to do the best I can and make it work. So I'm also using this small sponge brush to go in and do all of the fine details in this piece as well, just to make sure I'm getting the paint in there really good. And you'll get to see a close-up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But this piece, it's just really a pretty piece, and I'm just going in with this sponge brush just to make sure I get all of the fine little nooks and crannies and all the fine details done. And now I'm coming in with a regular paintbrush to paint the other areas and the larger surfaces. You guys, I always say the first coat is just getting the paint on your object. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm not worried about the direction that my lines are going on with this coat, but in other coats, I'm going to do my lines to kind of mimic the natural flow of the wood grain. And I'm going to just repeat this process until the entire piece is covered with the Retique-It. For those of you who aren't familiar with Retique-It, it's a liquid wood paint. It allows you to refinish furniture by just painting it on without having to do any sanding or stripping. And this is what it's looking like with just the first coat of Retique-It. Again, the first coat is just getting some paint on the object. It's the coats that come on after this that kind of bring your piece to life. And this is after I've applied a second coat to my piece. It's starting to look good, and I was able to get these 3 drawers out, you guys. The other ones, I could not get them out, but I was able to get those 3 out. But I'm still forging ahead. Here I'm sanding in between my coats. I want this to be as smooth and uniform as it can be when it's all said and done. Even though I want it to have a wood finish, I don't want any bubbles. I don't want any areas in it that have lumps or an overspill of paint, any paint bubbles. So I'm just going through and I am sanding the piece down in between coats. And after sanding, I'm going to come in with my microfiber cloth and just wipe the piece down again to get rid of any dust particles that were left behind after sanding. And now I'm going in with my 3rd coat of paint, and hopefully this will be the last coat. And as you can see, the more coats you put on, the smoother and the nicer the piece begins to look. And you guys will also notice I've had a change of clothes. It's because after the first couple of coats, I let it dry overnight completely and then sanded it down before adding this 3rd coat. And this is what the piece is looking like after 3 coats. Those dark spots are just where it needs to dry. But this is a good base coat for me to start before I start my paint technique to make this look like a wood finish. So these are the paints that I'm going to use to get the look that I'm looking for. I'm going in with this Waverly Truffle, and I have watered it down some in this dish, and I'm just going to put it on. And you guys, to be honest with you, there's no rhyme or reason to this method. You want to put it on, and then you want to use these different brushes to just kind of brush it out in continuous even strokes to just get the look you're looking for. And you guys, as you're watching this, you're going to see that I am going back and forth with these paint colors just to try and get the look that I'm looking for. And that's really what you have to do. You have to go in, put the paint on, take away what you don't want, add what you do want, and just keep going until you have it the way that the piece looks the way you want it to look. So I'm going in with this darker color over the light color just to give me a foundation for where I'm trying to take this piece. And then you'll see that after I get this all on, I'll come back in with my different brushes to give it those lines that make it look like wood. So I want to bring you in closer so you can just kind of get a closer look at how the two paint colors are coming together. And you can also use a finishing wax on this. It's a lot thinner, and it would give you a different look than this. But I'm starting here, and I'm just going to work with this and see how it goes. So far I'm liking it, and I already know what I need to do to get it to where I need to get it to. So what I'm doing here is I'm noticing that it's a little darker than what I'd like for it to be. So I'm coming in with another Waverly paint that is in the color chestnut, I think. And I am putting it on, and then I'll use my broom and my brush again to pull the color away just to smooth it out and make it a little lighter than what we have. And you guys can see the change already. So now that I have the paint on, I'm coming back with my broom, and I am just making the strokes to make it look like the lines in wood, but also the broom is taking away some of the paint that I've put on there. So you want to make sure you do it while it's still wet paint after just a few minutes, because you want the broom to be able to, or your deck staining brush, to be able to take away some of the paint so that you get the look you're looking for. So I'm gonna do this over all the drawers and the other piece. You guys can see the difference in the 3 drawers that I have done versus this piece that I'm working on now. It starts out dark, but then when you use the broom and your deck staining brush to go through and make your lines to look like wood and then pull away some of the paint, then it starts to lighten up a bit and look more like wood. So you guys can see the 3 smaller drawers and then the 3 in the middle that are to the right. You can see how I've lightened it up compared to that very top drawer here underneath above the one that I'm working on now. And you can see the change in color of how this piece is turning out. And this is more along the lines of the color that I'm looking for. And you guys, this is what the piece is looking like. I love how some of the areas are a little darker than the other area, but how the whole piece looks white. It just makes it look like an older piece. The camera's not doing it any justice. It really looks really good. So I'm going over it now with some polyacrylic and ultra matte. That brings the color and shine out even the more. And after I get this done, I'll give you guys a look at how it turns out. And you guys, here's a look at the final result. It turned out beautifully. And like I said, the video does not do it any justice. It is a beautiful piece. I'm looking forward to styling it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys enjoy the little things. It's the little things that give us the sweetest, prettiest little pleasures. You guys, I'll see you next week in the next video where I'm gonna also redo the coffee table. But until then, you guys, be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.